Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom for your day and your week. And I think you're going to appreciate this chapter at this point in time because I think it has some very useful information in it. So let's start with some breath because why not? That's what we do. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feeling the joy of being able to take a full breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting go of the buzzing in your brain, the Monday morning I have to's, just being present in the moment. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Wiggle a little bit, shake off the night. Getting ready. Notice the smells on the next inhale. I smell toothpaste. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Just being present. Just being ready. Feeling a sense of, maybe optimism would be a good word. An optimistic sense for this week. Good things are going to unfold this week. And that in the difficulties that do unfold, there's going to be some powerful learning. Good morning to the two of you who are on here. No names rolling yet, so we'll see who waves at me. Or Janine, good morning, good morning. Glad you are here. Welcome. So happy Monday. Happy Monday. And not sure, Beth is here. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, waving back. So we're just breathing. Settling into right here, right now. Good morning to whom else just popped on? Gwen's here. Good morning. Happy Monday. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Receiving this day. Breathing out. Letting go of whatever does not serve you. Just enjoying the breath. Feeling that energy moving through your body. Every breath you take. In. And out. Good. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome. So, I'd like to start with a request. If all of you are good juju, so if you want to rub your hands together and join me, we're sending good energy to Diane, whose mom may have had a stroke last night. She's in a nursing home and moving toward the transition from this life to the next. So sending Di some good energy. Love you, girl. All right. So we have a really good chapter today. It is from Taking the War Out of Our Words, The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication. And this can serve you in many different areas. The little part I'm going to read is actually talking about race, but there's a lot of different ways we could use this when there's gender issues that pop up, when there's socioeconomic status issues that pop up. Lots of different places we can use this. So the chapter, if you have the book, page 245, and the section is called The Weight of Negative Social Sanction. The weight of negative social sanction. And it also talks about work situations too. But there's one primary vignette story that she's sharing. Sharon Ellison, forgot to mention the author. But it'll give you the sense of how you can use this and how you can use it well. All right? So, the weight of negative social sanction. In many peer relationships, one person may make a comment that carries the weight of negative social sanctions. We may be in a relationship where one person has more power in some way, psychologically, socially, professionally, or financially. Sex roles may be a factor. Marcus's refusal to talk, for example, might fall in the category of you know how men are. They never want to talk about their feelings. Sally's insistence that he talk could put her in the category of women who nag. So we've got all these assumptions and all these little boxes that we try to jam people into simply because of some characteristic related to them. Male, female, young, old, fat, skinny, you name it, we come up with shit, don't we? So this is going to teach us one way of using the non-defensive communication skills. Good morning, Angie. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. We've been working our way through this book, Taking the War Out of Our Words, The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication, and this is what we have left. We're down to not much, and this section is really helpful. The weight of negative social sanctions. So we're going to talk about that, in this case in regard to race. But again, you can use it across the board with a whole lot of stuff. In other kinds of peer relationships, such as those with coworkers, some of us may be less fearful about changing our ways of communicating. We may not care so much how the other person ultimately feels about us. On the other hand, we could have less trust and feel more risk of changing how we interact because we may fear losing our job if we create an irresolvable conflict with a coworker. And notice those words, irresolvable conflict. I get the Sunday message from Maria Shriver, the Sunday newsletter, and there actually was a story in there from, I've taken training with them, the Gottmans from the Gottman Institute, and they are marital therapists, PhD level marital therapists, and they wrote a new book, and it's basically how to fight well, especially in marriage, how to fight well. And they, in this little piece that they did in the newsletter, they were talking about a fight they had with each other earlier in their marriage. And the point they were making is oftentimes when we have these seemingly irreconcilable differences, it isn't at all about what we're fighting about. That's just the battleground. So let's say I'm going to pick something stupid, leaving the toilet seat up. That really isn't what the fight is about. The fight is about something else, like you don't care enough about me to put the toilet seat down so that I don't fall in at night when I get up to go to the toilet. And the other party may be saying, you don't care enough about me that you put the toilet seat down for me. What's the big hairy deal? It's not that important. Deeper things going on. In the Gottman's case, when they were talking about theirs, it had to do with their own previous wounds and the wounds of their families, Holocaust wounds, etc., and how that played out in this one area of their life that they struggled to find resolution to. And actually, they have a process that goes through helping you learn more. Good morning, Judy. Welcome. About the depth of that problem so that you really, truly understand this isn't about the toilet seat being up. This is about much more major issues, right? So one of the jokes among therapists, because you kind of got to have a gallows sense of humor with some of the stuff you deal with, is, yeah, they got divorced over leaving the cap off the toothpaste. Obviously, that's not what it's about. It's much, much deeper than that. But sometimes we never get beyond that surface crap that pokes the button of those deeper issues. So this, what we're learning today, is one of the ways that helps in a non-defensive way lay some stuff on the table so that we can really take a look at it. So this is talking about the coworker situation again. We may fear the person will gossip about us and damage our reputation in the workplace or community. Although it may be difficult to be open and vulnerable when a peer makes a comment that carries negative social sanctions, I firmly believe that when we feel able and willing to do so, we can create more strength within ourselves by using the non-defensive approach. So here's the story she's sharing. Kita, a black woman, described the following incident during a workshop. She and a white female coworker had entered an elevator together after the lunch hour. It was raining outside, and Kita had forgotten her umbrella. The white woman looked at her and said, "You people are so lucky. You don't need umbrellas." The workshop members found it impossible to interpret, in a way that was not denigrating, a remark that suggests a whole race of people doesn't need umbrellas. When people make jarring remarks, our most common reactions are to withdraw, make a sarcastic response, or lash back in anger. Anybody else want to raise their hand here? Okay? Saying nothing does not eliminate the wound, and reacting with sarcasm or anger often results in the other person's projecting blame onto us for making a mountain out of a molehill. Kita had reacted with angry silence. Kita, along with others in the group, thought of some possible non-defensive questions, any one or several of which she might have asked. So here are some of the options. And again, remember, the key to doing this well is to not have your anger show. You ask curiously, because sometimes they didn't mean it to come out the way it came out. Either it's reflecting their hidden, unknown biases and prejudices, which they may be very willing to look at and get rid of if we point them out in this sort of a way, or you're allowing them the opportunity to have to own what they said. So let's see where it goes. Again, so she's would ask any one or more than one of these questions in a neutral way, as neutral as possible. Curious, that curious observer, I'm wondering why, kind of a deal. What do you mean when you suggest that I don't need an umbrella? When you refer to you people, who do you mean? What is it about me that makes you think I won't get wet? Do you mean that I would stay dry in the rain, or that I wouldn't care if my clothes got wet, or did you mean something else altogether? What do you mean by lucky? So can you see how asking those in a neutral way and just letting that silence sit there puts the person who said it in the position of needing to own what they've said, describe what they meant by what they said, etc. Okay? We can't know the other woman's actual thought process and motivation. And that's an important point. We assume we know, and then we react accordingly. And it all goes down the toilet pretty fast, doesn't it? So let's see here. She may have been thinking that Kita was unwise to be out in the rain without an umbrella and made her remark as a conscious put-down. Or, without consciously being aware, she might add further injury to insult by suggesting that she thought the nap of Kita's hair would keep her dry. Or, thinking she's been out in the rain and her hair still looks good, mine would be a limp, ugly mess if I did that, she might have intended her remark as a compliment, not having the presence of mind to realize the level of prejudice it exposed. So those are the kinds of things that we now have a term for this. This book was written quite a while ago, but we now have a term for this, microaggressions. Microaggressions. It's these kinds of things that we say lunk-headedly and or purposefully that constitute a put-down or lump people together in some way that it really isn't valuable to lump them together. If Kita felt uncomfortable telling the woman her own reactions without just accepting the comment in mute anger, she could let her questions give the other woman the responsibility for clarifying and exposing her meaning. If she felt comfortable saying more, Kita might state directly to the woman the kind of impact the comment had on her. The following is an example of being very straightforward without engaging in power struggle. Kita could say something like this in her own words or anything else she felt. I think you're telling me that I'm very lucky to be a black woman because we don't need umbrellas when it rains. While you are outwardly making a statement intended to sound like a compliment, I'm watching you making a huge generalization about black people based solely on the fact that I forgot my umbrella today. I don't know if you intended to hurt me or not, but I was truly upset that I forgot my umbrella. I feel angry and humiliated that you would believe my having no umbrella was related to the color of my skin. If the woman tried to dismiss Kita's response, which oftentimes is what will happen, saying, I didn't really mean anything by what I said, Kita could use prediction. Remember, we've got the prediction thing we can use, and that we put out at least 2 branches of that prediction, if she felt comfortable doing so, part or all of the following. If you want to think I'm overreacting, then I think you may go away blaming me for causing a conflict. If you are willing to examine your comment, I think you might find reasons to believe that what you said was hurtful and showed prejudice by making generalizations based on inaccurate assumptions. So remember, part of the taking the war out of our words is Sharon Ellison's premise that the English language is a very warlike language. We fight cancer, we do battle with this and that. It's a very warlike language. And so now she's saying in the war model, to be so open with a peer who has said something hurtful, something that adds to the ongoing pain of prejudice, would be unthinkable. By war model standards, being vulnerable would constitute handing power over to the other person. By non-defensive standards, however, if we feel able to do so, staying open in such situations enables us to maintain our awareness of what we see happening, keep our self-respect, and set our boundaries. What our peers do and say can push our buttons about deeper personal issues, such as our fears about competency, rejection, and conflict. They can also cause personal wounds that may be magnified by prejudice. So you can certainly, many of us have these stories, right? Whereas women, we walked into positions that previously were pretty man-dominated. All kinds of comments about that. Oh, are you here to make the coffee? Oh, she has blonde hair. That isn't going to work out very well. Whatever the comments are. And that's the kind of stuff that using non-defensive communication, we would put that person who said it in the position of owning that comment. And again, they will often do the, well, that isn't what I meant, or can't you take a joke, or all that kind of crap. But then, as she shifted here to the prediction part, if you do A, this is what will be the outcome. If you do B, this is what will be the outcome. Giving that person the opportunity to really own something that needs to be looked at and addressed. Thus, even in the context of our peer relationships, family, coworker, friend, many of us do not maintain our own personal authority well. Good morning, Trudy. Welcome. Too often we react to people who have no actual authority over us as if they do. And in families, I think oftentimes it's well, I don't want to create an uproar in the family. Yes, but there's already a wedge being driven by the negative comments that are being made, and the rift is already there, right? We allow them to say and do things that make us feel disempowered. While our fears may be legitimate, we can gain much more ability to effectively process, transform, and feed back to what another person puts out to us. And the value of doing so, I've seen this time and again, is if you say something about what was said, I'm wondering if you meant X or if you meant Y with that comment about Z. Putting it out on the table oftentimes will get that person to stop saying those kinds of things. They don't want to be called out on that stuff. They want to just, keep doing what they're doing. So if you choose, in a very neutral, calm way, as best you can, to call that stuff out, the frequency drops way off. And minimally, that's a plus. The other thing is, it does give them the opportunity to look at their crap. Ooh, that was a pretty sexist comment, or ooh, that was a pretty racist comment, and I don't want to be that person anymore, and so I need to change how I look at this stuff. They may go into doing some work on themselves. Yeah, I got to take a look at that. So that's our section for today. Hopefully that was helpful. If some of the words, one of the reasons I like this book is she gives us the words. I don't want someone just saying to me, well, then you need to confront that. That tells me nothing. Here we have words, and we can take these words and tweak them so that they're going to sound like our words. I'm wondering if you're saying you don't think I can do this job because I'm older than you. Pose it as a question. If their eyes get big and they're stumbling all over themselves, that's okay. Let them struggle with the prejudice that they just put out there. That's the best way for them to maybe begin to take a look at it, right? So we no longer want to be in the position of Ginger did everything Fred did backwards and in heels to get some validation, right? We can use this technique, this method in this book to gain equal footing, to level the playing field. So good to practice this, good to pick out some of the words from this thing and memorize them. Or if you have a phone call to make with somebody and you want to have one of these crucial conversations, I vote do it face to face if you can, but second best would be somewhere that you can, phone would be preferable over texting. Do not try to text your way through this stuff. It absolutely will fall on its face because you can't get the sense of how this person is saying it. We have capital letters that imply we're yelling. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot there that allows for discerning. And we have so much miscommunication anyway. Even when we're talking to somebody, there's so much miscommunication. Why set ourselves up to have more by doing it through a text message? Don't go there. Not a good plan. So that's our reading for today. Again, if you all want to join me in a little more juju sending out to Diane and her mom, that would be great. Have an awesome day. I'd rather eyeball them. Yes, pick up body language, etc. Yeah, the tone in their voice, all that stuff. All that stuff. Yes. So your mission for today, if you choose to accept it, is practicing a little bit of this. If somebody says something during the course of the day that catches you like, ooh, that was mean, or that was not nice, or that's inaccurate, see if you can step into your curious observer, find a neutral statement. That was an interesting comment. Can you tell me more about that? Neutral as you can be. See what you get, see where it goes, okay? Know that as you're beginning to practice this, you're probably not going to be very good at it. That is okay. Are we willing to be less than good at it in order to get better at it? So, have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.